Lou Diamond's
growing
music.
in the Pacific Islands for the last 30 years. I am not an American. Despite American imperialism, that is the territorial and economic control of Hawaii since 1898, Hawaiians, and not just myself, are not Americans. We are not Europeans. We are not Asians. We are not from the Pacific Rim. We are not immigrants to the Pacific. We are the children of Papa, Earth Mother, and Vakea, Sky Father. They created together the sacred lands of Hawaii. From these lands came the Taro, and from the Taro came the Hawaiian people. Because of this, Hawaiians have a genealogical relationship to the lands and waters of Hawaii. Our universe is a cosmos of familial relations. The land is our mother, and we are her children. This is the lesson of our genealogy. For over 200 generations, we lived in the land's keeping. In 1778, a white foreigner, called Haole in our language, came to our homeland with a pestilential shipload of other white foreigners. They wanted women, water, food, and general recreation, for which they gave the Hawaiian people syphilis, gonorrhea, tuberculosis, and ideas of predatory Christianity, capitalism, and individualism. 42 years later, in 1820, a different class of aggressive Haole, animated by the hatred of all things dark and sexual, brought measles, chickenpox, and a virulent determination to replace the Hawaiian world with the Haole world. They were called missionaries. These white Americans were bent on conversion of my people and the dispossession of our lands and waters. By this time, 75% of the Hawaiian people, 750,000 Hawaiians, had died from the coming of the Haole. Conveniently for the missionaries, the Hawaiian universe collapsed under the impact of mass death, and the field of conversion was littered with the remnants of Holocaust. In 1893, when Hawaiians were but 5% of what they had been at contact, and when most of our arable lands were in the hands of foreigners, American Marines invaded and occupied my native country, overthrew and imprisoned our chiefly leaders, and established an all-Haole puppet government called the Republic of Hawaii. In 1898, Hawaii was forcibly annexed to the United States against the expressed wishes of the Hawaiian people. By 1900, all Hawaiian language schools were closed. From this point forward into the 20th century, Hawaiians have become increasingly like other native peoples, conquered and subordinated in their own homeland. We suffer a declining population, continued land dispossession, and ongoing destruction of our cultural ways. American militarism during World Wars I and II and the Vietnam War swallowed up more lands, 600,000 acres in the Second World War. As a nation and a people, Hawaiians are no longer self-determining. American colonialism has been a violent process for my people. The violence of mass death, the violence of missionizing, the violence of cultural destruction, and the violence of the American military. It is out of this circumstance, then, that I speak to you today. Please remember that this history of violence against my people, who are now a numerical minority in our homeland, are occupied by a majority of non-natives, including over 6 million tourists a year.